Do you need to attend a classroom to pass a construction NVQ?
No. Construction NVQs are all based around prior learning and evidence that you provide to support the qualification. So we're not actually teaching people to do the qualification, we're asking them to provide the evidence to do the qualification. So we don't need to sit in the classroom unless the learner wants to learn a bit extra or they want a bit more advice and support. We can go and meet them in the workplace.
When you say evidence, what classes is evidence to be able to pass an NVQ?
So evidence is work that they do on a day-to-day basis, such as team meetings, RAMs, risk assessments, method statements, construction phase plan, how they should do their job, and it should be written down in a procedural process.
Is there any minimal requirements for people to be able to pass an NVQ?
The requirements to actually go on the NVQ or to pass it,
Yeah,
to actually be on the NVQ.
Yes.
So the requirements to be on the NVQ is you need to be in that role, so to provide the evidence. So someone who's not in a supervisor's role couldn't do a level 6 qualification because they're not in that role and they wouldn't be able to give the evidence to pass the course.
Are there any written exams or any written pieces of evidence that people need?
There's no exams because we're not testing people on their knowledge. We're just looking at to see how they do their job. So the written pieces of evidence are the stuff they do on a day-to-day basis. So they'll be producing written paperwork in the workplace. So that's the evidence we'll be looking at.
How would you be able to schedule any appointments? Can you do that through Teams or do they have to be in person?
It can be either. So the assessor will talk to the person doing the NVQ and they'll work out what best suits their needs. So if someone prefers to have face-to-face meetings, we'll arrange face-to-face. If someone's so busy they can only do Teams. It also depends on the geographical location of everyone. So if you're in one place or the other, at least you both can still meet up by phone calls and stuff like that. But that's all worked out between the assessor and their learner.
If a person has already signed up for an NVQ and they go through the assessment process and they realise it's not the right NVQ for them, is it too late for them to change it?
No. So if within the initial assessment the assessor does with the person is to look at if they are in the right role to meet the requirements of the NVQ, and if they aren't, we can't let them go forward with it because they'll never meet the evidence. So they need to be in. So if someone's going for a level 7, which is a strategic qualification, if they're not in a strategic role, they will never meet the evidence. So we'll review what they've done and see if we can drop their evidence down to, or their NVQ down to a level 6 to match their role.
So if the NVQ assessors are there to assess the process, is there anything else that they support the learners with?
They can give the learner some guidance. So if the learner is struggling to meet the criteria of the question, the assessor can help and advise them what to do to meet the requirements, so they can give them pointers. So if someone's not quite getting to the criteria of the assessment, they can turn around and tell them what they need to do to get there. They are there to support and help the learner get there. But it's not a teaching qualification, but we're not there to teach the learner how to do it. We're there to assess the learner's ability through evidence.